everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you for joining me this morning, guys. You absolute legends. Really, really appreciate it. Of course, guys, before I start, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All that sweet stuff supports the channel. Support the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. And everyone who's joining me here this morning, of course, guys, let's get straight into the Manchester United news, shall we? Of course, Manchester United, there's a lot of noise around Man United. Where would the world be without Man United? I don't know what we'll talk about. I really don't know what media will talk about if they didn't have us to talk to about. You know what I mean? I don't know what they'll do. They'll be going off their nut. They'll be going absolutely crazy, guys. Absolutely. Now, let's get straight into the news in regards to Manchester United and a complete overhaul of the squad, which can potentially happen over January and in the summer. News is circulating around various media outlets, and especially here in the Middle East, that Manchester United have agreed to sell Bruno Fernandes in the summer for around 100 million euros, guys. Around 100 million euros. So what do you guys make of that? Bruno Fernandes potentially leaving the football club with suitors in the Middle East vying for Bruno Fernandes' signature. Now, there are a couple of clubs that want to sign Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, there is Etihad, Al Etihad, who want to sign Mr. Bruno Fernandes, isn't it? So, like, guys, this is circulating now, and Manchester United have agreed to sell Bruno Fernandes in principle to whoever suitor comes in with the dollars, guys, and it's looking like Saudi Arabia, guys, and it's looking like a deal worth 100 million. Al Etihad are the club that are leading the way for his signature at the moment, guys. So that is very, very interesting. And look, guys, look, Bruno Fernandes does have a fan base. He has a Bruno FC brigade, doesn't he? And what do I make of that? I've never been a Player FC guy. I admire Bruno. I think he's been our best signing post Alex Ferguson. But I do feel like it's now time to cash in on Bruno Fernandes. But it's not just Bruno Fernandes we're talking about. We're also talking about Joshua Zirkzee here. We're talking about Casemiro here. We're talking about Ugarte here. We're talking about a number of players that could be leaving Manchester United during the winter and in the summer, which is going to raise funds to completely overhaul this side, completely turn this side upside down. Whether that is with Ruben Amorim or not, Manchester United are looking to completely change the midfield positions. In particular, they're looking to revamp the midfield. And look, guys, they're not finished on the attack yet. I'm going to get into that very, very shortly, guys. But Manchester United are looking to completely reshuffle the midfield, removing players out the team, selling players, i.e. there's a talk of Zirkzee, Mainu, Casemiro, Maguire, Shaw, and Ugarte could possibly leave the football club this summer, guys, and in the winter. Guys, and these players need to be replaced. Of course they do. And does it look like Man United will replace those players? Will Man United replace those players with sufficient players, with capable players that can take us to the next level? Now, I know a lot of people are a bit disgruntled, a bit disheartened by the fact that Zirkzee has not played football, for example. A lot of people feel that it's unfair on Joshua Zirkzee, that we should give him, more opportunities. I agree with that. But, the problem is, if the manager doesn't rate him like that, what can we do? What can we do? Like, at the end of the day, Zirkzee's not playing, the manager doesn't rate him. That's it. It's up to the manager. The buck falls with the manager, guys. The buck falls with the manager at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter what we think, He sees him in training every single day. He's not set the world alight, guys. I want people to remember that, guys. He's not set the world alight. You know what I mean? He's not set the world alight. And I would say that sometimes you just have to move on. We've sold a lot of great players in the past. I remember David Beckham, Yup Stum, many players in them. We got rid of Steve Bruce and players like winners like that, guys. Winners, Paul Ince, Mark Hughes. We've got rid of a lot of players over the years. Andre Kanchelskis, it's just the way it is sometimes. You just have to accept what it is, I would say. And Manchester United are looking to completely overhaul the squad. There is news about, obviously, Zirkzee. I've got the list here. Mainu, Casemiro, Maguire, Shaw, and Ugarte are the players that could be leaving this football club in the winter and in the summer. Again, I reverse back to the Bruno situation. Bruno, Manchester United are willing to sell Bruno for around 100 million euros. And apparently El Ittihad, is that how you say the name? That is the team that are interested in Mr. Bruno Fernandes for around 100 million, guys. Hey, Ignore, never ignore. Big up, Marky Mark. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Really good to see you, my bro. Hope everything is blessed with you. Big up, my friend. Exactly, Sal. The name on the front of the shirt means more than the back. Absolutely, man. That's what it's all about. Unfortunately, there are sections of the fan base that have forgotten that very important detail. That it is about the front of the shirt, this bit here, right here, rather than that bit right there. And that's absolutely correct, Marky Mark. Absolutely spot on. We need to think about what's good for the football club. We can't keep having this little bit of addiction or obsession with certain players and the nostalgic attitude that we keep having with certain players. You know, that won't take us to the next level. We need to move to the next level, guys. That's what Man United need to do. And if that is selling Bruno, if that is selling Xerxes, if that is selling Mainu, I mean, I don't agree with all those sales, but unfortunately, it is what it is. And if Man United truly want to do a rebuild, we're going to have some sacrificial lambs here. We're going to have to sell players that some people may be upset or don't want to be sold because he's their favorite player now. One of them is Bruno Fernandes, and it is looking like Saudi Arabia. Apparently, rumors circulating that he's going to Saudi Arabia for around 100 million. A deal has been agreed in principle. 2 Saudi Arabian clubs, guys. Well, okay, let's see what happens there. Marky Mark, I do like Xerxes, but he's a 10-hard player. Yeah, he's a 10-hard player, Marky Mark. And look, I like Xerxes as well. I like his personality. One thing about him, I like his personality. I think he's good to have around the dressing room and things like that. He's also a very talented player. But one thing about Xerxes which concerns me is his inconsistency. He plays well 1 minute, he doesn't play well the other minute. But I would also say that in partly he's been misprofiled. He is a false number 9, and we're playing him as like a number 10 sort of thing, like up front. He's a false number 9. At Bologna, he was a false number 9. At Bayern, he was a false number 9. And I think we're misprofiling him a little bit, in my opinion. And I think that, we need to be, fair on him. He wouldn't be the top of my list to get rid of. It wouldn't be Xerxes. But it's up to Xerxes. Xerxes wants to play World Cup, just like every single other player. Kobe Mainoo wants to play World Cup. So this is very important. So Xerxes turns around to Ruben Amorim and says, look, Ruben, I want to play in the World Cup. And if Mainoo comes around and goes to Ruben Amorim, Ruben, I want to play in the World Cup. There's nothing you can do about that. You can say, well, fair enough, and we're going to have to get rid of you, then if you want to play in the World Cup. Bruno will not leave in January. Bruno has the World Cup and he will be in the World Cup squad and he plays for Man United. He will leave in the summer. And it is looking increasingly obvious that he's going to leave in the summer, guys. If we can get around 100 million, like it's being rumored over here in the Middle East, guys, in UAE, then I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. I think we should snatch their hand off. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Big up, my friend. How you doing? Morning, Sal. I'm happy to let the players go to improve us. It is what we need to improve this team. Simple. I agree with that, Darryl, my bro. I agree with that. Great comment as usual. I agree. And even if it's a player that we like, I liked Garnacho, guys. Everyone knows I liked Rasmus. I've spoken to Rasmus on Instagram. You know what I mean? I like Rasmus. I like Garnacho. But obviously, I know when it's time to let these players go. I know when they do wrongdoings. I would admit it. I know when they're not performing well, and I know when they need to leave not to further their career, but to help their career. Do you know what I mean? And that's just life. That's life, guys. When we lost Andre Kanchelskis, Paul Ince, and Mark Hughes, I was devastated. I remember in the 90s, I was devastated. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. What is Alex Ferguson doing? What's he doing? Oh my goodness me! But sometimes it has to be done. It has to be done. And we have to go by what the manager wants and what the manager feels that the tools that he needs to succeed. Ultimately, when these players left, we were very upset. But we learned our lesson from that with the class of 92. And when Sir Alex Ferguson went from strength to strength with those players, we learned our lesson. Don't question the manager. Don't question the manager. Let the manager have the tools that he needs to succeed. And that is what we need. And that is what Ruben Amorim needs. And if Ruben Amorim suddenly becomes successful, and then we can't turn it, then I don't think many of us will be moaning. Let's be real. I don't think many of us will be moaning about it, Let me get into another bit of news. Of course, I was speaking over the summer about Semenyo, the Bournemouth attacker, playing very well this season, of course. And when we're talking about a rebuild, Manchester United potentially could sell Xerxes, could sell Mainu, and Bruno leaving the football club. This could fund the deal for Semenyo, guys. Semenyo is high on the list of the Manchester United hierarchy. Now, Semenyo obviously been fantastic, playing on the left, playing on the right, scoring goals, assisting goals, a brilliant player. We mentioned him in the summer, but imagine this, guys. We have Semenyo, Cunha, and Bremo as an attacking lineup. I mean, is that too much? Is that overcooking it? My opinion would be the only way we could do that kind of team is if we played a 4-2-3-1 or something like that, which I don't think we're going to do. But Man United are interested in Semenyo. Man United are looking into bringing in Semenyo and offloading Xerxes and Mainu. However you believe that, however you feel about that, you know, it depends what happens with these players, of course, that are leaving the football club. Casemiro, Ugarte are deemed to be surplus to requirements as well. So they will be leaving the football club at the end of the season. And look, guys, it does look like it's going to be a very, very busy summer. It does look that, if I'm being honest, guys. Good morning, Ellen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, Irfan. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Of course. Hope you're blessed, of course. Guys, absolutely. Irfan, Sky Sports, a deep dive into Amram tenure at United. Panel includes ex-players and ex-coaches. I guess they can't resist the money. Man United, hated, adored, never ignored. Man United are always going to be the subject of conversation, no matter where it is, when it is, how it is. Whether it's successful, whether we're not successful, Man United will always be the subject of conversation. You know what I mean? Especially in regards to the manager. The one thing about Sky Sports and all these entities is that they only get people on their channel that fit their narrative. They only get people on their channel that fit their opinion. They don't want anyone to come on their channel that have a little bit of have something between their ears to contradict them and to give them the facts and to tell them about the birds and the bees. They don't have anything. They don't want anyone like that, i.e. me, on their channel. And I would urge them to get me on their channel, because then I would actually have an opposing opinion to those, rather than just, yes, sir, please, sir, give me some more, sir. And that's what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? I like to be obviously objective in my opinions, and I like to call things from every single angle. Most people just go, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he needs to go. He's a fraud. You know, and that's what they want to do. You know, unfortunately, not me, not in my world. Absolutely not, guys. Absolutely not. Let me just respond to this message on Twitter, guys. Okay. Amir, big up, Amir. I hope you're well. Big up, Ephraim. Big up, Ephraim. What's going on, brother? Sal Semenyo is a good player. I like him if he comes. I like him, but one thing I wanna see about Man United is that I don't want Man United to overcook it. We've got attacking players there. We got Cunha and we got Bremo. But you have to be realistic. If Man United lose Mainu, if Man United lose Bruno, if Man United lose Xerxes, they're going to have to replace him. And that player that at the moment that has been rumoured is Semenyo. He's the guy that they want. He's the guy that is Premier League proven, playing absolutely phenomenally well this season. But then again, we look at it, so Cunha and Bremo are playing phenomenally well. Bruno and Cunha's statistics last season were better than Semenyo's. You know, they were brilliant. I would love Semenyo at the football club. I would love that. I would love that. That is a rebuild. But we also can't forget about the midfield. We need to fix this midfield. And if we lose Mainu, we lose Ugarte, we lose Casemiro, it'd be interesting to see what players we're going to bring into this football club. Absolutely. Good morning, Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Big up. Fergie Sal, I think we should go for Upamecano from Bayern. He's out of contract. He's a donkey, 71. He's a donkey. Man United have been linked to him, but he's a donkey. I would much rather us play a youth team player. He's a donkey, mate. Trust me. He makes too many mistakes. He's experienced, granted. But I think I would rather play a Kalungi. I would rather go in for the... I don't think our defence needs touching. I don't think we need to worry about our defence. Mazraoui, Leacher, if he stays fit, of course. Aiden Heaven, of course. We've also got Yoro and De Ligt. I don't think we need any more. And plus, we got Fredrickson, Kolungi in the wings coming through as well. I wouldn't touch Upamecano myself, and I don't think Man United should be thinking about a defender at the moment. In my opinion, I think our defense is fine. Chadosi, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Lisa, what's going on? Hi, Sal. Gonna see the likes of Baleba, Mbuemo, and Anana for the match against Mauritius this afternoon. Yeah, they're playing Cameroon. Well done, mate. Well done. Good luck to you. You got tickets for it. Fantastic. I'm going for a 3-3 draw, my friend. A 3-3 draw. That's what I'm going for, is a 3-3 draw, guys. Mauritius against Cameroon. What a game. I mean, maybe I can pick it up. Maybe I should do a watch-along. I'm going to do a watch-along for Cameroon against Mauritius now. I'll wait and see, guys. I'll wait and see. But, yeah, look, you know what? Best of luck to you, mate. Best of luck. Of course. So, look, Bruno leaving the football club. I do believe that sometimes you have to call it a day with certain players. You have to call it a day. You have to say that, you know what? You know, we need to move on now. 30, 31 years old. And as Alex Ferguson used to have, notoriously, he didn't really keep players over 31. There was a few of them that used to be on the bench, like obviously Teddy Sheringham, for example, used to be on the bench, and Alex Ferguson wouldn't really go near that, in regards to that. And he would bring on players like Teddy Sheringham as like a squad player, but he wouldn't have them as a main player, And I think we do need to move on from that. And then I think if we get a deal up to even 90 million, if we get a deal up to 100 million, great. But if we get a deal up to 90 million, I think that will be absolutely fantastic. Our Etihad are the club that are being spoken about at the moment. So, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? I think that Man United need to move on. And I know that will upset a lot of player FC. I know it will. But not only for him, we got Xerxes, Mainu, Dalot, Casemiro, Maguire, Shaw, Ugarte, who could possibly be sold this summer, guys. This summer could possibly be sold. So that, look, I won't say that all of them are going to leave, but right there we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Bruno, 8 players that could possibly leave this football club. And when you're looking at 8 players, I mean, goodness me, that is a proper rebuild, isn't it? I don't think for the life of me will happen. I don't trust Ineos. I don't trust the Glazers to make this happen. Even though it's a godsend that Man United needs to make this happen, even if we sold a few of those players, I think that, I don't think that they will do it. I don't think the Glazers will do it. I don't think Ineos have the capability of doing it. Daryl, he's another Maguire. Leave him at Bayern. I'd rather use the youth we got and Bruno still going for 100 million. Lovely, get rid. 100 million euros, which is about 90 million pounds, isn't it? Roughly around that much. 88 million pounds around that. My maths ain't fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I would do that deal 100%. And it is looking more and more increasingly likely that he will leave the football club in the summer. And the way he's performing now, I wish we got rid of him in the summer, to be honest with you guys. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, with the way it is. Kenny, big up Daryl, by the way. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the stream. Guys, look, you know what I would say though? Look, I want to say that Bruno, I do not dislike Bruno. I think Bruno has been a fabulous player at Man United in a difficult period for our football club. And that is what we have to remember. It has been a difficult period for our football club. It's an unfortunate that he's been at this football club at this time. But at the moment, I feel like we need to cash in on him whilst we still can. He's 30, 31 years old. We need to move on from that. And we need to stop the nostalgic attitude that we have in sections of the fan base. Because, you won't move on like that. You will not move on like that, guys. Absolutely. You will not move on like that. Absolutely not. Let me just scroll back here, guys. 1 second. Now, guys, I want to speak briefly about something that I heard today about players talking to Jim Ratcliffe about the manager. Now, I don't know if this is true. This could be a rumor. This could be a sinister rumor that is spreading around. I don't know if it's true. But one thing I would say is this. Sir Alex Ferguson, when he was manager, no one asked the players what they thought of Sir Alex Ferguson, did they? The manager had the authority. These players, I don't want to know what Bruno Fernandes thinks of Ruben Amorim. I don't give a damn what Bruno Fernandes thinks of Ruben Amorim. I don't care what the leadership group, Luke Shaw, Maguire, think of Ruben Amorim. Because what do I think of them? I think you're a serial failure, mate. I think you are an absolute embarrassment, mate, to this football club because you've not challenged for the league. You're an embarrassment to Eric Cantona, to Mark Hughes, to Ryan Giggs, to Paul Scholes, to Roy Keane. You are an embarrassment, Bruno. Sure, you're an embarrassment. So I don't want to hear about what the players feel about Ruben Amorim. It should be, what does Ruben Amorim think about those players? Whether you like Ruben Amorim or don't like Ruben Amorim, I'm not interested in what those players think, to be honest with you. They embarrassed us last season. Let's not forget that. They embarrassed us last season. They're the ones who lost to Tottenham Hotspur. Hotspur? What's that? You know, they lost to that. And that is what they lost to last season. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham winning a European final, beating Man United, one of the greatest European English teams of all time. My goodness me. Unbelievable. Semenyo left side would be something. I mean, if we could fit him into the team. I like Cunha as well. I'm not turning my back on Cunha. Morning, Sal. Hope you're well, my friend. Big up, Dembo. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Of course, in the house. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing blessed. Ephraim, Sal, what is your thoughts of Omar Barada asking players about... yeah, just said that one. Big up, big up. I just read about that, my friend. Chidoso, we need to sell Bruno so we can get Baleba. At the moment, Chidosi, Baleba needs to perform for his football club. Baleba needs to pick up his performances because at the moment, I prefer Adam Wharton, mate. I do. I'm sorry, guys. I prefer Adam Wharton. I prefer Elliot Anderson. Because Baleba's not performing. He's been substituted twice now. And if he's being substituted for his football club, what does that tell you about Carlos Baleba? It means Carlos Baleba hasn't got it here between the ears. It means that he's not professional. It means that he's weak mentality. We don't want that at Manchester United. We don't want none of that. He should be performing for Brighton, just like Gui is performing for Crystal Palace, who missed out on his move to Liverpool. He needs to perform for his football club. That's what he needs to do. And if he doesn't perform for his football club, he won't be getting his move to Manchester United because we won't trust him, especially for the prices that are being quoted. At the moment, as I said the other day, Baleba's price tag is reduced significantly. His valuation, his official valuation now is 56.7 million. That's going to keep decreasing. And that's not a good thing because at the end of the day, that shows he's not performing. He's not getting the goals. He's not getting the assists. He's not performing. You only, look, one season wonder. One season wonder. What happened to Evan Ferguson at Brighton? The new Wayne Rooney we were hearing about. The new Wayne Rooney. You know, you've got to perform for your football club. Otherwise, you won't get your big move, my son. Jengas. Morning, Jengas. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're blessed. Daryl, 100%, brother. Big up, bro. I'd rather keep Amorim than the players that need to go. Absolutely. Why are we asking? Why are we asking players for their opinion? Serial failures. The Ted Bundy of failures. They are, right? The Richard Ramirez of failures is these players. That is what they are. Why are we asking for their opinion? At the end of the day, goodness me. Like, you know what I mean? It's madness. You know, it's madness. It's like asking San Marino, what do they think about the Brazil national team? You know, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Big up, though. Marky Mark, been seeing rumours with us swapping Rashford with De Jong. Have you heard anything about this, my friend? No, I haven't heard nothing about that, Marky Mark. However, in football, things can change, my guy. Things can change in regards to, you know, news comes up every single week with Man United. I wouldn't be opposed to that, to be honest with you. I wouldn't. I think it'd be a good signing for Man United, but I don't know if Barcelona would do that deal. Barcelona are looking to spend 26 million on Rashford. They don't even want to spend that. That is a disgrace when you think about it right now. That is a disgrace. 26 million for Marcus Rashford. I mean, come on, guys. Just a couple of years ago, it was 70 million. You know what I mean? It's madness, guys. It really is madness, guys. You know, no, I don't. I mean, I don't think they'll do that deal, plainly because of the fact they value De Jong more than Rashford. I think they value De Jong more than Rashford. They value him at the moment 26 million, and they don't want to pay that. So it'd be a great deal, to be honest, Marky Mark, though. If we didn't manage to pull that deal off, it'd be a great deal for Man United. It'll fit the team perfectly. However, I still got a little bit of negativity in my mind in regards to Frankie de Jong because of the way what he spoke about Manchester a few years ago and when he was supposed to sign for Man United and he slandered Manchester and that, and which I take personally, to be honest with you. But you never know. Big up, Marky Mark, my guy. Ephraim, 16 likes away. Come on, guys. 16 likes away from 50. Guys, don't forget to smash the like, guys. Very important for the stream, guys. Really important. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined me today. You absolute legends. Of course, guys. Absolutely. Kenny, Baleba has been hooked off plenty of times. I won't be disappointed if we get him. I won't be disappointed if we don't get him. At the moment, Kenny, you can't help but think that there's a negativity surrounding Baleba. I like Baleba. I think he's a fabulous player. Last season, he was a generational. But it's quite obvious that he's had his head turned by Manchester United. And that's good for Man United. Yeah, he's had his head turned. But what does that tell you about the player's mentality? His professionalism. We have to look at that. We have to look at that because if he does that to Brighton, who made him, what's he going to do to us? I know Lille, he's at Lille and he had a good reputation and stuff, but I'm talking about Brighton in the Premier League, right? He would do that to Man United. Let's say if Real Madrid come calling or something like that, Real Madrid come calling and they call for Baleba. Do you know what I mean? And he turns his head and he starts underperforming for Man United. And that's what we talk about, the mentality, isn't it, at the end of the day? The Night Stalker, yes, Kenny. He's not a Colombian player that we're after. No, he is a Night Stalker. So basically, he was a serial, you know what? And these players are serial underachievers, serial losers. So I put that in a category because they are frauds, absolute frauds, absolutely, absolutely. Fun show. Baleba is not a one-season wonder. Well, factually, he is in the Premier League, mate, at the moment. He wants a United and move and didn't want to go public, but he's other way of doing it. However, the price is out of favour. No. He wanted a United move. Get your head down and bloody work for your move. Work for your move. He is a one-season wonder at the Premier League right now because he's getting substituted for Brighton, my guy. Is he performing for Brighton right now? No. What does that tell you about his mentality? His head's been turned. That's not good. That's not good, right? Just because you're a fan of Baleba, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean that you just say that everything he does is good. At the moment, he's a £30 million player, mate. That is what he is right now. He went from 100 to a 30. You're only as good as your last game, my guy. You know what I mean? And that is the Premier League. It's harsh, cutthroat. This is what the Premier League is. You can't perform for your football club. You don't deserve a move to Manchester United. Your current football club, who are paying your wages. If you cannot do that, if you cannot perform for your football club, you don't need to be thinking about Man United. You need to be thinking about Stoke City, my guy. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we've had enough of these down toolers. We've had enough of them. We've had many of them over the years. I like Baleba, right? I like him. But at the end of the day, you don't perform. If it gets to December and he's still not performing for Brighton, what do you do? What do you do? You're going to pay 50 million for him? Nah. Adam Wharton's better, right? Elliot Anderson is better. They're better players. And that's it, consistently, you know? Big up, everyone. I hope you're well. They lack proper authority themselves, even lower managers too, by doing such things. There has to be a sense of respect and confidence on Amram from hierarchy while they're keeping him accountable, while still keeping him accountable. Absolutely. No, the players should never have an opinion about a manager. It should not be that. That should never be the case. Who's the manager here? We can all see what's going on. Evidently, over the last, 20 years, 30 years, the players, not 30, I wouldn't say that, I say 20 years, 15, 20 years, the players have been accountable. The players have been accountable, you know, and they need to be held accountable. I'm not looking at Bruno. I'm not looking at Shaw. I'm not looking at Maguire. I'm not looking at these players right there and say, well, you know what, he did win a couple of Premier League titles. He did win a Champions League. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the fact that, they're underachievements, mate. They've not done anything. They won the FA Cup here, League Cup here, every now and then. What's that? So did Portsmouth. So did Wigan. Who cares? Now, I mean, at the end of the day, none of them are serial winners and they don't have a leg to stand on. They don't have a leg to stand on. If it went to the court of law and there was the manager, the board, the players, right, in front of the court of law, both the board and the players will be found guilty and be put in prison for a very, very long time. The manager be let off the hook because it's not the manager. Absolutely. Daryl, Barcelona, I joke. He's worth more. I hear that he's going to try for another loan for him. This is where we get into the grounds of ridiculous, isn't it? You know, keep loaning players out so they can get him for free. We shouldn't do it. Unless it's a loan with an obligation to buy without any stipulations that they can cancel the obligation, they need to pay the monies. Barcelona are no stranger at purchasing players. I don't know why all of a sudden they're acting broke. You know what I mean? I don't know why all of a sudden they're acting like, you know, well, we can't afford him. We can't afford 26 million. Oh, that's a little bit hefty. They're treating us like mugs, guys. They treat us like mugs, and we need to understand we can't be bowing down to Barcelona. You want Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is apparently playing well for you. I mean, that's not what I'm hearing anyway. Parts of his game, the fans are still moaning about it, but obviously it gets overly hyped from the anti-Amarin brigade. But yeah, look, they want Rashford. They have to pay up for Rashford. My feeling is this, my guy, Daryl, is that they're not going to buy him. I think he's going to come back to Man United. I've got this feeling. I don't know what. I've had this feeling for a while now, Daryl, that I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to come back to Man United, and we're going to be left with that problem again, that little conundrum right there again, you know. Absolutely. Jengus, De Jong is quality, but we need a young, hungry players, not galactical type players like De Jong that sleep in silk pajamas. That is sleeping in silk pajamas. Yeah, look, you know, I agree with Jengus here. Look. At the end of the day, I would much rather an Adam Wharton who puts effort in. I would much rather an Elliot Anderson who puts effort in. I would much rather a player in there, Lamine Camara, someone like that, Lucien Agume, who would appreciate the move to Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? I would much rather have a player like that of that ilk than players that, you know what, it's not really working out for me at Barcelona. Should I go Man United now? I don't really want that. You know what I mean? I want players who want to play for this football club, who are professional at their current football club. That's what I want. I don't want players who down tool, the mentality to down tool. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't want players like that, you know, but it is what it is. We have to wait and see. Mark, Barcelona are the tramps of Europe, leeching off other clubs and taking advantage of players' love for the club. Spend all their money bribing refs. Absolutely. I mean, look, you know, we all know the Barcelona, the tiki-taka, the dark arts. I actually think that the Champions League finals, in regards to the Man United ones, were very, very sinister. I think they were in regards to referee. Everything that Man United did. I mean, I think Man United had a couple of penalties at the one at Wembley. Guys, you know, but it was never given. I actually think that a lot of things, sinister things are going. What do they call it? UEFA Lona? Isn't it UEFA Lona? That's what they call them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Daryl, leave Barlaba, get Wharton. He's dropped in his performances, man, but not a seed, not needed. So, but bad season, not needed. I mean, we need players who play for their badge. That we need players who need to act professionally. I bring you back to Gui, Mark Gui, right? Mark Gui had a here we go. He's going to Liverpool. For some reason, it fell through. Rumours is that Crystal Palace couldn't sell a player and they couldn't get a player through the door in time. So they didn't end up selling Gui. They cancelled the transfer. What does Mark Gui do? Mark Gui performs for Crystal Palace. Mark Gui comes out in the public and says, I like my teammates. I'm going to perform for the club. You know what I mean? Not down tall and give a sulk indirectly. I would much rather Baleba come out in the summer and open his bloody mouth and stop being a coward, open his mouth and say, look, I want to leave Brighton. Can I go to Manchester United? Rather than, you know what, I'm going to stay at Brighton and I'm going to underperform, even though my head has been turned. Because that's worse. That's manipulative. That's sly. You know what I mean? You need to be honest. You need to be open. Look, I've seen the bid for Man United. Can I go to Man United, boss? You know what I mean? And that's what he needs to do. But now his price is reducing day by day by day. However, Man United are still interested in Baleba, but they are having second thoughts. Other players are coming into the fore in regards to their front of their mind, in regards to Adam Wharton, in regards to Elliot Anderson, in regards to Lamine Camara, Lucien Agume. These players are all coming to the fore, guys. Absolutely. Now, guys, a little bit about another striker, an attacking player that Manchester United have been linked to is Levante striker Etta Iong. Etta Iong is a 21-year-old centre-forward from Cameroon who has been playing relatively well for Levante over this last couple of seasons. And Manchester United seem to be looking for a backup striker for Benjamin Sesko. Etta Iong, 21 years old, fits the bill perfectly for them as he wouldn't cost that much money. Now, Etta Iong has been mentioned on the show before, mentioned him last week. But it is seen that Man United want to build up their squad with players that are ready. Players that could come in. If Sesko gets an injury, we get another player in. You know what I mean? Like an Etta Iong. Now, he's scoring goals for Levante in Spain. And yeah, look, great. You know, it reminds me of when we signed Louis Saha. You remember we signed Louis Saha? That sort of signing. You cannot have enough strikers. You need a striker who has the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? And Etta Iong is one of them guys. Don't forget, mentioned it first, Stretford Post. Sal, spot on Baleba. Need to raise his game. His mentality is questionable, and you can't help. This is an educated, straightforward argument. It's an educated one. Is he a one-season wonder? Evidently, yes. In the Premier League, he is, because if you play well for one season and then you're not playing well this season in the Premier League, in the major leagues, right? This is not France. This is the major leagues. You're a one-season wonder so far. It's going like that, isn't it? One season wonder. Oh. It's going like that. Oh. You know what they say? 95 equals 100. And that's what it is. You know, he's the one-season wonder right now, guys. Absolutely. You know, and I don't want him to be, because I like Baleba. I saw Baleba last year. I watched him closely. He was brilliant, but he's not that player now. And you're only as good as your last game. And in this instance, you're only as good as this last season, what you're doing now, you know, and you know, I hope he turns it around. I really do. I hope he turns it around. You know, will Man United take a 50, 60 million at least risk on Baleba if he's playing well and badly until December? Do you think Man United would do that? Do you think they'll pay 50, 60 million on Carlos Baleba if he's not playing well until January? And people know me. I'm a Baleba. People know me, and people know this stream, and people have been on this stream every single week. Baleba. I've lost count how many thumbnails I've done with Baleba on the front of them, guys. You know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about. You know, we have to be realistic. Big up, Garrett. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you in the house, guys. Absolutely. And look, you know what? One of the things that's exciting about Man United at the moment is that there's a lot of noise going around Man United at the moment. There's bad news. There's good news. Transfer news is what we're looking at the moment. I don't care about politics. I don't care about anything like that. I do care, however, about the toilets not being cleaned, mouse and rats being found in the stadium. Really, really crazy. But that's been going on for quite a while. Just don't buy a burger in the stadium. That's all I'm saying right now, guys. That'll probably upset Jim Ratcliffe. But don't buy a burger at Old Trafford because there has been rats. You know what I mean? Unless we had Scousers in the house. I don't know, but there you go. Joke, guys. De Jong picks up a lot of injuries as well. We want players like Sesko that see United as a privilege to play for. I agree, mate. I agree. We need players like Sesko. Sesko so far has really pleased me. I'm delighted with Sesko. I really am delighted with Sesko. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. And even when he weren't scoring goals at the beginning of the season, I was saying that Sesko's going to come good. Don't worry, he's going to come good. This guy, what pleased me at the weekend, and it was a poacher's goal that he scored at the weekend, a poacher's goal. And I haven't seen that kind of goal for a while. And I know it's a little bit slim pickings and it's low-hanging fruit. But what I say is that we need that sort of goals. We haven't had those sort of goals in a long time. And when he scored that poacher's goal to make it 2-0, mate, it reminded me of Ruud van Nistelrooy. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, there's someone there, right place, right time to put, these players, you know, to put his name on the map. You know what I mean? In regards to me. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Wee Jack, big up Wee Jack, hope you're doing well. Let me read your opinion. I know you disagree with me, but that's fine. Sal, you're getting a bit mental towards the players. I don't think I am. I think I'm being very fair on the players, to be honest, those serial failures, which they are, It's a fact, right? Now, tell me right now, is Bruno a winner, mate? Is he a Premier League champion? Is he a Champions League champion? You're talking to a fan since 1988, mate, right? Okay. So, and then you need to look at, is Luke Shaw a champion? Is he a Premier League champion? Right? Do they have the right to talk to the manager? To talk to Jim Ratcliffe about the manager? Do they have a right to talk about what does it take to be a successful football team? Right? It's like me going to a how do I say it? A billionaire, right? And saying that, you know, talking about being homeless, talking about someone with a silver spoon, right? And talking to them like, do you know what it's like to live in a council estate? You don't know, do you? You never done it. You know, you never done it. And that's what my opinion is. I don't have Player FC. I'm Manchester United FC, my guy. I'm Manchester United FC. I'm not like the other channels. I don't call people frauds. I don't insult people. I talk about their performances. And I'll talk about the news that comes out of the airwaves, right? At the airwaves, right? I'll talk about that. Bruno has not played well for Manchester United this season. Would you cash in on Bruno? Yes, I would cash in on Bruno. That's not insulting. That's not going against the players. Going against the players is this. That fraud, that absolutely bald fraud. Get him out of my football club. That Portuguese fraud. Get him out of my football club. That is those channels, mate. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. And opinion is welcome, my guy. But these players need to be held accountable, right? Because they've sacked numerous amounts of managers. They're going to get a new lease of life. Don't worry about it. They're going to be fine, Jack. They're millionaires. They're going to be fine. Don't worry about them, mate. You know what I mean? Don't worry about them. I will critique players. Life is about critique. If I walk into my house right now and my wife says to me, Sal, you're putting on a bit of weight, love. You're putting on a bit of weight, love. You need to lose a bit of weight. Am I going to tell my wife to F off, you silly B word? Am I going to do that? No, of course I'm not. I'm going to say, really? Am I? Well, I better get on the treadmill. I better go for a run then. Right? How can you improve if you cannot critique? Remember that. Remember this. How can you improve if you already think you're perfect? You can't, can you? Because you already think you're perfect. We all see that they're not perfect. But how can you improve if you're not perfect? You know what I mean? Sal, big up Jack, though. Really appreciate you. Sal, these players are in for a bit of money. They don't respect the club. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about evidence. If this went to the court of law, you can have O.J. Simpson's lawyer, guys. These players will be guilty. And I'm talking about these players. I'm talking about the ones who have been here for a while, guys. Right? I'm not talking about Sesko. I'm not talking about Ahmad. I'm not talking about these type of players. I'm not talking about these players. You know? At the end of that, I'm talking about the players that have been here for years and years and years and been serial underachieving, you know? Fergie 71. The only reason I mentioned the Bacana is because Maguire should leave and they could do another club. Look, you know what? Fergie 71, I agree, right? I agree with you that like we need an experienced player to fill in the void that Evans and Lindelof and Maguire will be leaving. I agree with that. I just think we can get better. Do you know what I mean? I think we can get better, Fergus. I respect that. And if he comes to the football club, I would accept that. He's got a little bit of experience, but he's a little bit like very clumsy. And I would like to get someone else. You know what I mean? I don't know who. I'm looking at, I've mentioned a few players over the last few months, but I would rather get someone else. But that's opinion. That's obviously subjective, isn't it? But big up Fergus 71. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Big up Kevin. What's going on? Granwell is a great player. Agree with you, Sal. How much would he cost? About 60, 70 million, mate. Plus incentives around that amount. The thing is with Adam Wharton, and I like Adam Wharton, he's dedicated himself until the summer. He's not going to be leaving in the winter. He's going to be staying to the summer. They've already got a gentleman's agreement in regards to that, so he won't be leaving in January. He will be leaving in the summer. But we have to remember that the likes of Real Madrid are interested in Adam Wharton at the moment, so we have to be very, very quick in regards to how we do this. Do you know what I mean? Big up Kevin, by the way. David Sumner, what's going on, my bro? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sal. We need another 5 to go for us to move forward. Need the 5 to go. I agree, mate. I agree. And look, this is no hatred, and I don't say anything sinisterly, right? I think on basis of Manchester United. I've done that my whole life. Right, I think on the basis of Manchester United, I've seen legends at this football club. You know, we need to hold our football club and our players to a higher standard. We need to have them like, these are the levels you reached here in the last 10 years almost. You reached here. And we need to look at that. 2017, guys, is 8 years ago. Nearly 9 years ago, guys. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of these players are getting up to a testimonial stage. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to remember that, you know, and it's crazy. The fact that Luke Shaw had a testimonial. You know, this is what we're talking about. This is the culture that we have to change at football. Do you want, what I have to ask this question, what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? These players to miraculously turn it around, become world class. I'm talking about Dalot, Shaw, these kind of players, right? Are they all of a sudden miraculously going to turn into world class players at their age, in the late 20s, early 30s? It's not going to happen, is it? And we have to understand and we have to work out, are these players good enough? And even Ineos are thinking on these lines. So now at the moment, they're thinking of who are we going to remove? Now, how are we going to rebuild this team? You know? Morning, Benny. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my guy. Hope everything is blessed with you. Baleba on 15K when we want to pay him 10 times more. Maybe he or his family are upset at Brighton restricting his earnings. So what, Mark? Play for your badge. That will come. That will come, brother. That will come. You play well for your club. You will get your 100 bags a week. Don't worry about that. A lot of clubs will be in for you. At the end of last season, guess who was in for Baleba? Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. All were interested in Baleba. But they were all those football clubs were sitting back. They were sitting back and they were like, okay, all right, you want 100 million for Baleba. We're not going to pay that right now. But what we're going to do, we're going to wait until next season how you perform. Great players show it season in, season out. You want your 100 bags, all right? You want your 100 bags, you're going to have to perform, my guy. You know? It's not all about the money. Money's important. I know. I'm not delusional. But this is what matters. This is what matters. Whether it's the Brighton badge, whether it's the Manchester United badge, you play and you justify your wage. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Garrett, I will be glad if we get a centre midfielder in January, Sal. I mean, I hope so. I actually think that unless Man United don't get rid of players, unless they get rid of players, Man United are not going to be buying the centre midfielder. Man United have to offload to get players in. Now, the thing is that what is very interesting here is that it is World Cup year. And Xerxes and Mainu want to play in the World Cup. I know people want to dismiss this. Many people want to dismiss this, but Xerxes and Mainu want to play in the World Cup. So what do? They stay at Man United, warming the bench. They're not going to get in the World Cup squad, is it? De Ligt has already missed out on a squad, the Holland squad, and he's playing well. Can you imagine the likes of Xerxes and who is it? Mainu not playing for their club. They're not going to get in the England squad. Look, the England squad has been announced. The last couple of squads, Mainu hasn't been in there. The last few squads, Mainu hasn't been in there. I still believe he should be in there. Like, I still think he's better than Jordan Henderson, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, they're not getting in there, so they might have to leave in January. You know, and that's when Man United might look for replacements. You know, and hopefully we get even if it's a loan, there is obviously a talk of Ruben Neves coming in on loan, players of that ilk coming in on loan. I wouldn't mind that. But we have to think about it, not only for the fact of our pure selfish intentions, we have to look at it on the basis of them and what they do for their career. World Cup is massive. You know, I know it's international football, I know, but the World Cup is massive, guys. It's big for your career. I remember watching the World Cups over the years. I remember the 94 World Cup, Hristo Stoichkov, the 1986 World Cup, Diego Maradona, hand of God. These things, the World Cup is very important. Michael Owen, 98. You know, these things are very important. The World Cup is very important to these players. And we cannot sabotage their chances of playing in it, you know? Absolutely. Fergie, my dream signings will be Adewale and Baleba. Those two will make us challenges for the top four. I don't know about Baleba at the moment. He's got to be better than he is, you know? Absolutely. Dylan, we dodged 100 million bullet with Baleba. Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, we're looking at that, yeah. And I think many other clubs were interested in him as well. And I think they dodged the bullet as well, in my opinion, guys. In my opinion, absolutely. Ephraim, 50 likes, guys. Come on, you absolute legends, you absolute diamonds. Thank you so much to those who are smashing a like on the video. Really appreciate it. Can we get to 60 likes? Let's get it to 60 likes. Thank you much. Thank you very much, as Elvis used to say. Of course. Hey, thanks. But the rats you are talking about, show some respect. Hey, that's because rats you're talking about. Pick up, Ellen. Hope you're doing well, Ellen. Welcome back. Welcome. Better late than never, as usual, as I always say. Thank you so much for joining me again. Hope you're blessed. Guys, Fergie, I'd also be happy with Wharton and Stiller. Stiller's brilliant. Stiller's brilliant, absolutely. Rats at Old Trafford, that would be the Glazers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Did you see the picture though? You know what I mean? Did you see the picture? There's an agreement, apparently, Bilal. There's an agreement in principle with Al Ittihad, in regards to 100 million combined offer, which isn't like 100 million straight up. There's 100 million, about 80 million plus incentives around that. Circulating in the Middle East at the moment, where I am, there is rumors that there are 2 Saudi Arabian clubs that have agreed a deal in principle with Bruno Fernandes. 2. How much weight you put on that, I don't know, but it does look increasingly likely that Bruno may leave in the summer. You know, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Time is an education. We need to ship Bruno out of 100%. We can't make the same mistakes. Absolutely. Big up Bilal, my friend. Hope you're doing well. When we sell Bruno, that will be our Coutinho moment. Bruno is an individual, not a team player. When Coutinho left the Dippers, they became a proper team. Same applies here. Agree. Absolutely spot on, Benny. When Coutinho, look, let's not lie to ourselves. When Coutinho left Liverpool, we were all celebrating because we thought, you know what, Liverpool have lost their best player. I know they got 150 million for him, but they lost their best player. Little did we know that Liverpool became a better football team. And this is exactly the same with Bruno Fernandes. People stat pad. People look at players and think, oh, but his stats, we would have got relegated if it weren't for Bruno. No. Maybe we would have become a better football team. Maybe if we played a few more games with him, we might have not got relegated. We might have done better. You know what I mean? You have to understand that football doesn't work in absolutes. You know what I mean? This is what it is. At the end of the day, at the same time, if we get rid of Bruno, he needs to be replaced, right? He needs to be replaced, and another player needs to come in of equal or better quality. And that's what I would say, guys. Another player needs to come in, you know? Big up Bilal, by the way. Big up, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, Neil. But let's not forget, Man United won a treble with kids. Mentality monsters. You know, you look at the likes of Saka. You look at the likes of Odegaard on your team, mate. They're handling it well. The stress, the pressure. What did Saka go through in the European Championships? He handled it, bruv. You know, you handle it. You handle it. That's football, man. That's football. And this is what it is. It's affected him. Mentality monster. That's what you need. Mentality monster. Nothing affects you. Certainly wouldn't affect me, but, you know, some people are weak. Absolutely. The Labour form will come back, not £100 million form, mate. Absolutely not. Sal, I still do not understand why clubs are not interested in Alejandro Grimaldo. He is a phenomenal left wing back. I mean, I think black teams have been interested in him in the past. I don't know. I haven't heard much about him recently. I think if we get him and Wharton and then maybe Elliot Anderson, it would be my dream. Big up Bilal. Wouldn't argue with that, my friend. Wouldn't argue with that. Absolutely not. Mark, there's also Maguire, Ugarte may be short, and Martinez returns. Might want to move to get World Cup footy. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. John O'Connell, Bruno had does enough for United to go and enjoy your football and play in your right position. He goes missing in his own position as well, John O'Connell, just to let you know. I know we're talking about he's better in his right position, but he's also ill-disciplined in his right position as well. This is the problem that we're having. Do you know what I mean? There's a number of problems, you know. He is ill-disciplined and he does affect the team shape. And this is the thing. People just look at things on the basis of the player. They're not looking at the team. They're not looking at how his movement and how him being ill-disciplined in his positions affects the team, etc., you know. And we have to look at that. Too many people look at football very, very 2D. You know, they don't look at things from above, from the side, from every angle. They don't look at that. They just look at one thing, and they say, no, Bruno and his stats. They don't look at, but he affects the right winger. He affects the left back. He affects the midfield. You know what I mean? They don't look at that. This is what the problem is with football analysis nowadays. It's unfair. It's not fair, you know, and we have to do that. I wouldn't argue with that, Bilal. I think De Ligt will be a great captain. He has been captain for Ajax as well. I think it was Ajax's youngest ever captain, if I'm not wrong. He was Ajax's youngest. I wouldn't say no. I mean, I look at Cunha. I think he's going to future be a captain. I know he needs to perform, but I think he's going to be a future captain for Manchester United. I think that De Ligt would be a great catcher. Licha, the thing with Licha is his injury problems. I think he'd be a great captain for Man United, but the problem is he's injury prone, and that's where, you know, we have a problem with it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, we need a new captain. I actually think that the captaincy has affected Bruno Fernandes. I'll be honest. I think it has, but that's weak mentality again, isn't it? Weak mentality is the talk of the show today. The weak mentality. We don't need weak mentality at Manchester United. We don't need soft hearts at Manchester United. We don't need snowflakes at Manchester United. And that includes the fans as well. We need to be stern in who we are. Cantona, karate kick, you shush. That's what we need, guys. That's what Man United need. No one step on us. That's what we used to be, guys. Right? That's what we used to be. No one step on us. You know what I mean? Nowadays, oh my God, he said this about me. He said this in the media about me. How can he say that about me? Come on, man. Beckham had mannequins hanging up from bloody train stations, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Jenga's missing penalties and misplaced passes and miscontrolling easy balls, then blaming other players has nothing to do with Bruno's starting position. He's playing bad. End of story. That's true. But the starting position, his playing positions are wrong as well, mate. Jengas, we're talking about as a whole here. His playing style is wrong completely. And that is his nature. He's not going to change that. Going out of position is not bad form, bruv. And he does go out of position. That's an ill discipline. That's discipline. That's mentality. That's discipline. He does all those things wrong as well. But we're not discounting the fact that he mispasses passes and that, Jengas. We're not discounting that. That's wrong as well. But he does go out of position. That's not form. That's discipline. That is discipline. Form is when you shoot a ball over the bar or give away a pass. That's form. You know what I mean? Going out of position is not form. It's ill discipline. You know what I mean? Ill discipline. You know, I work in football. It's hard to explain when I work in football. You know what I mean? About it. Yeah, look, so, you know, that's what I was saying. Not everything is down to form. Sometimes you're just not good enough for the system. Sometimes you're just not good enough for the team. And that's what it is at the end of the day. And that's what it is. Not just form. You can't be talking about form at 31 years old. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, when you're passing balls out, you should be experienced. Yeah, so and do the easy things right. But this is what we're talking about. Certain players need to leave. The Player FC needs to go from the culture at the football club. We do have a culture of Player FC at this football club. You know what I mean? We do have a culture of that, you know, and we need to remove that away from the football team. Guys, we do. And then only then would we progress as a football team. I know it's hard. It's hard to basically agree with it. It's hard. If you're a fan of a player, it's hard. As I said at the beginning of the show, some of my favorite players have left this football club. Some of my best ever players have left whilst I was supporting this football club. You know, the Cantonars of this world have left whilst I was supporting this football club. You know, and I have no affiliation with footballers. I don't. I have affiliation with Man United. I don't have an affiliation or personal agenda or personal feelings towards footballers. That's not how we do it. That's not how winners do. It's not about that. Do you think Real Madrid have affiliations? Real Madrid ended up booing Cristiano Ronaldo, one of their greatest ever players, you know, and our greatest ever player as well. But he was scoring goals left, right, and center. You know? Guys, at the end of the day, there are people. Sal, any chance you give my daughter and her friends Vanessa, and Marion, Emily, and Krusty a shout out as they are collecting? Kirsty or Krusty? Kirsty or Krusty? Let me just get this right first. Is it Kirsty or Krusty? I don't want to be rude. Listen, I'm going to do a big up. Let me say hello to Maria. Let me say hello to Vanessa in the house, Marianne, Emily, and Kirsty or Krusty. I know it's not Krusty. I know it's not. I think it's Kirsty. Big up. You're definitely not Krusty. Big up everyone in the house. Big up you, and thank you so much for joining. Krusty. Big up Krusty. Sorry. Big up Krusty. Absolutely. You're a legend. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. Yeah, you got Benny's a legend, and you are legends too. Thank you so much for joining Stretford Post. Pass it on. Pass the word. Get the word out there. Spreading around in the airwaves. Absolutely. Thank you, Benny. Appreciate you. And big up again, Marianne, Vanessa, Emily, and Krusty. There you go. I've done it perfect now. Ephraim, Sal, we need a captain who cannot mess around with down tools. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, there are too many sentiments, even with Belabor. Too many sentiments in the fan base. Are you going to come good? What makes you think he's going to come good? Why? Did Evan Ferguson come good? Huh? You know, people were comparing him to Wayne Rooney. Or doesn't he fit a narrative? You know, a sinister one. You know, he's not playing well. You're only as good as your last game. And that is how football works. As watching football for many, many decades. Right? And that's what it is. Right? And we have to understand that. The player don't play well. You're going to miss out on your big move. And that's all it is. You know? I wouldn't mind him for 30, 40 million. That would be all right. We'll take it for 30, 40 million, but definitely not 100. Definitely not. When they're definitely going to take 100 million for him. Bloody hell, you know, underperforming players and that. It's funny, isn't it? You know, people are so quick to throw players under the bus. But when there's a player they like, you got to give him time. You got to give him time. You got to give him time. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Guys, I really appreciate everyone in the stream today. Thank you all for your comments. Lovely comments. Whether you disagree or not, guys, I really appreciate every single one of you. Please don't forget to smash a like on the way out. We need to get to 60, 70 likes. Let's try and get to 100 today if we possibly can. Don't forget to put your notifications on in case I do go live, guys. And also, please, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're in here, guys. Please, don't just hate along, guys. GK, stream for more than 1 hour, mate. Why? I have to be fair to my fellow content creators who are waiting to do their streams as well, guys. You know what? Become a member, GK. Then you dictate things in this stream, my friend. Dictate streams. I don't work for you, brother. Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. I'll be back for Chatterbox anyway later. Take it easy, guys. See you soon. I might be around for Devil's Digest as well. We'll wait and see what I'm doing if I get home in time because I'm training today. I do train a football team as well, guys. I don't just do this. So, guys, take it easy, guys, and you have a great day, guys, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Cheers.